Hello and welcome back then to the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. We've had 3 races already today, 2 to go, and it's time for race 2 for the Junior GP class. What a race we had earlier on this morning. If you haven't watched it already, do go back and watch it. There was a runaway race winner, of course, but the battle for the podium went right down, I should say, to the wire. 16 more laps coming up for the Moto3 Junior GP riders. Fantastic layout, isn't it? The Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. It's very, very warm today as well. So this afternoon's race is going to be very tricky indeed. 4.7 kilometres, plenty of overtaking opportunities, none more so than just down here out of your picture, down the front straight. Slipstream City it is. 1 kilometre, full gas, hard on the braking zone down into turn 1. We're going to see plenty of action down here. But the question is, Jack, can anyone beat Jose Antonio Rueda? Because his victory margin in race 1 was over 11 seconds, would you believe it or not? And that's including him cruising over the line and probably cruising around most of the last lap as well. So yeah, a dominant victory for the pole sitter. Yeah, 11 seconds is just about as good as it gets. Not far off a second a lap with only 16 laps in this race, of course. So yeah, can anyone beat Rueda? Sorry.
Well, it's going to be difficult, let's put it that way. He's been in incredible form all season long. Of course, his win here earlier was just magnificent.
And this was his win here earlier. Didn't get the launch he would have possibly wanted. Asman, the number 63 for the middle of the front row, did get the whole shot, but it was at turn 3 as the riders dived into turn 1 here in Catalunya. It was at turn 3, just around turn 2 there. There it is, the passing manoeuvre. Turn 3 for Jose Antonio Rueda. And from then on, unfortunately for the riders behind, it was good night Vienna, because the number 99 did not look back. The fight for the podium raged on though. David Alonso there just keeping tabs until a few laps in, and then he lost touch in the podium fight. And for most of it, it was between Angel Becerras, the number 18, David Salvador, the number 38, and Asman. There's David Alonso and Harrison Voigt battling out there in the lower ends of the top 10, and the number 7 there, Filippo Farioli, did very well indeed from 11th from the grid to claw his way back into the podium fight, and there he is moving into 2nd place on the number 7 Aspar junior team bike. And from there on in the last few laps, it was a cracking battle for the final podium places, 2nd and 3rd, eventually going the way of Asman and Filippo Farioli. Salvador and Angel Becerras just missing out. This was the last lap. Asman started the last lap in 5th place, but by turn 10 here, he made his way up into 2nd place, past Filippo Farioli. This was Rueda cruising across the line, looked back, absolutely no one in sight. 11 seconds, over 11 seconds, victory for Jose Antonio Rueda. Dominant victory in race 1. What will he do in race 2? Can anyone do anything about Jose Antonio Rueda taking a 3rd straight victory of the season here in Barcelona?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be difficult to stop Jose Antonio Rueda then. As you say, eyeing up a 3rd victory in a row here in 2022. Once the floodgates open, sometimes they just never close, and that could well be the way that it's going to go from here. Of course, watch out for Sarifdin Asman, finished 2nd in the first race after a pretty titanic scrap for that 2nd place pretty much most of the race. And then Filippo Farioli as well, obviously doing a cracking job. 2 podiums on the bounce now, 2nd and 3rd. And yeah, just impressing and doing really good stuff there on the Husqvarna.
Exactly right there,
sorry,
Jack.
On the gas.
On the gas. So then this is the grid then for race 2, but this is get to know Angel Becerras, the rookie sensation.
Soy Ángel Piqueras, tengo 15 años, vengo de un pueblo de Ayora, de Valencia, y bueno, estoy compitiendo actualmente en Moto 3 en el Team Estrella Galicia. Para mí el segundo puesto, saliendo el último, era como una victoria. Fue difícil porque yo creo que llegaba con los neumáticos más gastados que otras personas, porque al ir remontando y forzando más de la cuenta, yo creo que iba con menos neumáticos que otros, entonces me era muy difícil defender la posición. Fui pasando a gente desde la primera curva pude llegar al grupo de cabeza. No se podía guardar porque si no, no llegas al grupo. Fue desde el principio tirando todo lo que podía. La verdad me sorprendí a mí mismo.
Yeah, good stuff there from Angel Piqueras. He was talking about the race in Valencia that was the last round. He had a qualifying penalty to contend with after qualifying on the front row, as he has done here, the number 18 rookie, and by sort of like 5th or 6th, if memory serves me correct, he was in the lead group and leading the race, and only got pipped to the post by David Alonso at the final corner. So yeah, that race in Valencia from a rookie, remember, and Angel Piqueras is inexperienced in Junior GP, the Moto3 class. Sensational stuff, and he was in the podium fight once again in race 1, and he looks every bit as good to fight at the front again in race 2.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, it's, you know, unfortunate for him with what happened with the penalty, but obviously it gave this incredible ride, and obviously he just narrowly missed out on the podium earlier by, I think, 2/10 or something in the end. So certainly there's every prospect that he could well land on the podium here in the second race of the day. But here's the man of the moment then. Rueda, as you can see there, first in the championship, 83 points as he points to the side. Gelson Yambias, the number 94, calls his teammate. Not riding today after a crash in QP1 yesterday at turn 2 or 3. So we send our well wishes to Yambias, of course, doing a cracking job here in his first season in Moto3.
Yeah, fortunate for Yambias because he went really well in Estoril and Valencia. Yeah, unfortunately crashed at turn 2 yesterday, and he's unfortunately injured and not riding today. Now, Asman ended his Baron podium run. He won here last year in 2021 in Barcelona, went podiumless until this morning, and you can see what it meant to him, couldn't you? He obviously loves this Barcelona layout, as do many of the riders. It's a very, very good layout indeed. But yeah, Asman returning to the podium, long-awaited return to the podium, so that's good stuff for Zarifdin Asman.
Here's Bouazri then in the actual grid slot that he did qualify in. So this is where he would have been on the grid, was showing really, really good speed. You can see that he's getting a little bit of treatment there on his right wrist just from a very helpful Somkiat Chantra, not just a Moto2 World Championship rider, but also a physiotherapist by the looks of it. So yeah, very helpful there from Somkiat. Not too sure if Bouazri picked up a slight knock over the weekend or whether it was from race 1, but certainly there just a little bit of deep heat on the wrist.
Yeah, he had a crash in Valencia, so I'm wondering if it's just the after effects of that, but it's not affecting him too much. Is that what looked like a little bit of an injury. So here's David Salvador then. Obviously that run of 3 straight podiums in Estoril and 2 races in Valencia came to an end this morning, but he was in the podium fight. Some of you probably would have seen that David Salvador was riding in the Moto3 World Championship here last weekend. Unfortunately crashed out, but made a really good account of himself. He has done in all of his races in the World Championship this year, filling in for the likes of John McPhee and Ayumu Sasaki. So David Salvador, really one to watch here today in race 2, and one for the future as well. He's an exciting young Spaniard, and yeah, he'll be out for revenge after just missing out on the podium on the last lap in that fight with Asman Piqueras and Farioli.
Here's Daniel Munoff, number 17. Of course, had a slightly difficult first race down in 12th, and some 19 seconds off the win, but only 8 seconds off the battle for the podium in the end. But as you can see there, it's kind of that region where he has been in the races this year. Of course, we've seen him up in the front group a little bit in Valencia, but yeah, that 12th place isn't too bad, to be fair, for Daniel Munoff, but he certainly will be hoping for more. And I think I'd say he does have the pace to do a little bit more. Probably just like the setup wasn't exactly what he wanted in the first race, but as we know, they always learn and make adjustments for race 2 and see what they can do.
Charul's point scoring run goes on, the rookie in the Junior GP. He's been doing very well, the number 32 Junior Talent Team rider. Second in ATC last year with a few podiums to his name. And of course, that horrific injury suffered in 2018. It's great to see Daniel Charul back racing and fighting at the front, fighting for the points in the Junior GP Championship. Now here's David Alonso. We didn't quite see what happened to him, did we, in race 1, Jack? Because he finished down in 11th place, but he was running in 6th place. He just lost touch on the podium battle in the open exchanges and was battling his teammate Farioli for quite a while, and Harrison Voigt too. And then all of a sudden he finished 11th, so we're not quite sure what happened.
He did, but I just had a quick scan of his lap times there, and there wasn't one that was remarkably worse than the rest, but actually his last 3 were all about 2 seconds off the pace. So I just wonder if his rear tyre fell off a cliff at the end and he just really started to suffer, and that was what saw him slip down the order and into the clutches of the chasing pack. But yeah, he suddenly kind of just disappeared at that 6th place, and we weren't too sure what happened to him.
Yeah, interesting stuff, because obviously this race here is going to be even more punishing on the tyres, with track temperatures absolutely soaring, air temperature soaring as well, of course. Just having a look at Eddie O'Shea there. He's taken a real step up this year as Eddie O'Shea. Unfortunately, just missed out on the points in race 1. He finished down in 16th, but he did have a long lap penalty to contend with, so that did affect him a little bit, the number 31 rider. But yeah, he's made a real step as the British rider in the British talent team. Sophomore year in the Junior GP paddock. He's of course in the Red Bull rookies as well. 11th over there. Best of 4th so far in Mugello for Eddie O'Shea. So yeah, good stuff for Eddie O'Shea, and starting from 9th place, he'll be hoping to fare a little bit better this time around. So here's a rundown of the grid then. Rueda starting from pole, once more from Asman and Piqueras. Perezri up into 4th place where he qualified after the penalty earlier on. Salvador and Daniel Munoff in 6th. Charil, David Alonso and Eddie O'Shea complete row 3.
There's Colin Vire doing a cracking job in Red Bull Rookies this year. He starts 10th, and Farioli, podium man in the first race, and Al Mansa, who is doing a really good job off the line to get up into that lead group early. Voigt, Lanetta and 02 for watch out for the rookie on the 85. Aditama as well there on row 6. Then row 7, Ruder, Ralston and Morosi from Detweiler, Volpe and Gorb. I believe Volpe had a crash. I can't remember who exactly it was with in the first race, but Volpe did go out. It's with Philip Ton actually just behind him on the row 9 there. Then Uchimi, Carpe, Rosenthaler and Radner's out is Gordon Brothers in 31st and 32nd.
There's the pole man, there's the championship leader, and there's the 2-time winner so far this year in Junior GPs, eyeing a hat-trick of wins in a row. And if race 1's anything to go by, then it looks like it might come to him fairly easy. The riders, of course, will be hoping to make the number 99's life a little bit more difficult, because it only took him to turn 3 to make the race-winning move on Asman, and then he cleared off into the distance.
Yeah,
I was going to say slowly but surely, but it wasn't really slowly at all, was it?
No.
He was quick to make his mark and, yeah, storm home to race 1 victory. So it's going to be interesting to see if anyone has obviously done the homework after race 1, see if they've made any good improvements. That being said, Rueda could have made improvements himself. So this is going to be really interesting to see if anyone can live with Rueda past turn 3. But conditions have worsened for these riders. I know it's beaming sunshine, but the track's going to be greasier. It's a lot hotter out there than it was this morning, and we saw in qualifying yesterday, didn't we, that lap times were at least a second slower, if not more, in the afternoon.
And one man that was actually really, really quick in the hot conditions, I believe, was Farioli, right?
Yeah.
Because in QP2 yesterday, he actually bettered his time, and I think he was only one of 3 riders or something incredible like that bettered their time from QP1 to QP2. So Farioli certainly doesn't mind it when the conditions get a little bit toasty, and well, he was already on the podium today, so if he's even better in the heat, then could be quite a little good battle. But we have to say as well, in that QP2 session, I think it was Rueda that was quickest anyway. Yeah. So Rueda is still going to be the benchmark even in these hot conditions.
Yeah, Rueda this weekend has just been a class above, really, hasn't he? He's been the riders to beat in the cooler morning conditions and the afternoon conditions. Now there you have the championship standings. Rueda leading by 24 points, almost a race worth victory of points over David Salvador. David Alonso there, race 1 winner in Valencia in 3rd. Farioli in 4th, Alonso's teammate after his back-to-back podiums now in Valencia and race 1 here. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. David Alonso will be wanting to bounce him back from that P11 in race 1. But yeah, it is all about whether anyone can ruffle a few feathers in Rueda's terms. Can anyone stick with him? Can anyone do anything about him going on to win a 3rd race in a row? We'll soon find out.
Yeah, very soon indeed then. We'll be underway in just about 30 seconds time. They're all coming to the grid. They'll stop at their grid slots, do their final little procedures and starts, get some temperature into the brakes, although it's not too hard on a hot day like today.
Don't need to work too hard for that, do they?
No, certainly not. I wouldn't be doing any sort of stuff like that. I'd just roll up. So anyway, then, you can see the safety cars at the back. They're going to pull into position as long as everyone else. The man with all the authority at the front. And we are going to be ready to go in just a few seconds.
Asman got the whole shot in turn 1 early on today. Will he do the same this time around? So they're going to be underway very shortly. The red lights appear, and then they go out, and we're underway here for race 2. Rueda gets a good start, but again, it looks like Asman's got a good getaway. He has, but Rueda's got an even better start than he did in race 1. He cuts across the line of the others. The others are going to tuck into the slipstream. That's Tactical Brasserie getting a great start from 4th on the grid. Is he going to be last of the late breakers? I think he is. Tactical Brasserie, the number 33 rider, takes the whole shot. Rueda's got a nice line, but Brasserie's going to have the inside line for turn 2, but then Rueda's got a good outside line round into turn 3, and he takes the lead again at turn 3, round the outside. Classy there from Rueda to get the better of Brasserie. So Rueda leads then on lap 1.
So deja vu then in Junior GP. Rueda leads it through turn 3. Brilliant start, as Elliot said, for Brasserie. But also that purple bike there, just on the right of your picture, David Almanza, number 22. What is he doing on the starts? He's incredible off the line. He's up into 5th from, I believe, 12th on the grid. Superb stuff from the man on the Network bike.
Salvador up into 3rd place. Piqueras demoted to 4th place. I think that's Piqueras anyway. No, it's Asman, so I'm not sure where Piqueras has dropped down to. I think he's 3rd place, actually, judging from this. No, he's up with Salvador. Don't know where Piqueras is. I think he's down
4th,
into 4th, so I was right at the start. So Piqueras in 4th. I think he's just going to dive. No, not quite this time around. So, yeah, already what we were saying at the start, if he gets the whole shot, which he didn't, but turn 3, once again, Rueda, as we have an instant there down at turn 5. That's Eddie O'Shea as well. Can't quite see who the other bike was, but yeah, disappointment there. So yeah, just come on a screen. Charil, Colin Via, Luca Lanetta and Eddie O'Shea. So 2 of the junior talent team riders there. Colin Via, 2nd in the Red Bull Rookies Cup this year, and Luca Lanetta unfortunately crashing down there at turn 5. So hopefully all those riders are okay. Lap 1 crash then there for those 4 riders as we nearly complete this lap. You can see there on your screens Rueda, that's pushing up to nearly a second on the opening lap already. It's 8/10 through the latest split. Salvador just running wide there. That's going to cost him a run down into turn 1 on this 2nd lap. But as we cross the line, then the gap from Rueda to David Salvador is up to a second already. Not sure that was on the grass as the riders jostle for position down into turn 1. Salvador! That's very, very tight.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, careful, that is
how has no one gone down there?
Incredibly lucky. The only man that, well, got on the unlucky side of that then was Tactical Brasserie. That's such a shame after an incredible start. That's going to ruin his race. Oh, massive shame for the Asian Talent Team rider, but that was incredibly lucky. Contact between David Alonso and David Salvador, and that sent David Salvador skittling down into turn 1. That was a lucky one.
That was very scary indeed. How no one went down. Thankfully, no one went down. We'll never know. But yeah, Brasserie there, the unlucky party, couldn't do anything about that, unfortunately. David Salvador just got out of shape. Contact with David Alonso down to turn 1. Late on the brakes.
Someone's down.
I think that's the 2 bikes from earlier. So hopefully the yellow flags are out at least there. But yeah, 2 bikes on the edge of the track, that's not good at all. So hopefully they're cleared as the riders pass by this lap and the marshals can clear them bikes out of the way. I assume it was the 2 bikes that were left from the lap 1 crash. Yeah, hopefully they're cleared. But yeah, drama then here, early stages in Junior GP Race 2. David Salvador keeping it upright somehow. We're going to get a replay here.
We go. So this is the contact then. Look at that. David Salvador elbows into David Alonso, of course. They're all weaving around, doesn't realise there. David Alonso gets on the brake. Contact again from Salvador. And then Brasserie is the unlucky party in that. Has no idea that Salvador is a little bit out of control coming down into turn 1. Just gets punted into the gravel. Such a shame for Brasserie there after starting in his original grid slot that he earned through hard work yesterday in qualifying. And now he's all the way down in 27th place. But this man, what is he like? He's like Casey Stoner on the first laps. Incredibly, he's just absolutely bolted and put 1.4 seconds on the field.
Well, he's riding the blue number 99, and a certain blue number 99 in MotoGP years gone by has done exactly this, hasn't he?
Should have made that connection, really.
Jorge Lorenzo we're talking about, of course. So yeah, Rueda really in the groove now, and it looks like at 1.2 seconds he's going to clear off into the distance once again, but we never know. Things could still change, and it's Asman, the 2nd place finisher in race 1, who is 2nd with Filippo Farioli in 3rd place, with David Salvador in 4th place. Yeah, terrible look there for Brasserie. Where's he dropped down to now?
27th.
Yeah, 27th. So unfortunately for Brasserie, that's race over. Maybe he can salvage some points from there. We'll keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, hopefully, because for Boazri that is a massive shame. But anyway, back to the front then, and Asman was only 1/10 slower than Rueda on that lap. Just for comparison, compared to race 1 earlier on, a couple of hours ago, Rueda did a 49.8 that lap round. I remember from the first race, he did a 48.8 as his last lap. So conditions at the moment, they're about a second slower. We'll see what Rueda can do this time round. Maybe he's clicked into his rhythm now, but I don't think he'll go much quicker than that 49.8.
No, difficult, isn't it? Yeah, like we say before, second a lap, roughly, give or take, is what the riders lose in the hotter, sticky, greasier conditions. As Farioli then makes his way up into second place at turn 10 on Asman. Salvador's hunting Asman as well, and the fight for the top, well, the second place really, as Rueda's clearing off, is down to, I think, 8th place Harrison Voigt. We've got a good race on our hands again for the podium fight. Unfortunately, it's not going to be for a race win, I don't think, because there you can see the blue speck there of Jose Antonio Rueda clearing off into the distance. Yeah,
certainly is clearing off into the distance, and it looks as though he has extended the advantage again on this lap. What is it as they come across the line? He sets a 49.7. Oh, actually, Farioli with a 49.3. That is quite rapid. So, cracking lap then, Farioli. Maybe if he gets to the front of this group, he can indeed close the gap. But he does have to get past the 63 and the 38 of Salvador and Asman first. So, let's see if he can do that. A shout out to the man that is, or was at least, at the head of that chasing pack. Javi Sura, 2 for the rookie, the number 85 on the MTA machine. He was at the head of that pack, now just slipped back a little bit, and it looks as though it's Aditama. So, congrats to that man, because he's doing an incredible job this weekend, heading up this chasing pack behind them.
The positive news, well, there's many positive news, but one of the positive news for Rueda is now he's got that gap, he can just manage his tyres from here. If the guys have any chance of winning, Farioli obviously setting that rapid lap time, which was half a second faster than Rueda, he's got to use all his tyres, and in this heat they're going to churn up a lot more than they did in the cooler conditions. So yeah, I think Rueda obviously has built that gap, nearly 2 seconds, and he can just manage it from here. Salvador then is in second place with Asman right behind him. Podium finisher, of course, Asman in the first race. Salvador finished 5th to break his P3 streak at the start of 2022. So he'll be out for a vengeance in this race. But he's got a gaggle of riders behind him. What can David Alonso do this race? We mentioned, didn't we, that he dropped down to P11 at the end. He's about where he was in the first race before. He's just started slowly drifting back into the pack. But the thing for Farioli is he is now second. He was nowhere near second at this stage of the race, was he, in race 1?
No, he wasn't. He was mired down in the pack a little bit, really getting bumped and barged around. And speaking of bumping and barging, that is exactly what these guys don't need to do. They need to take a page out of the book of Esteban and Uriarte in the Hawkers European Talent Cup race, which you've just seen, and work together. Use the slipstream to your benefit, not to the benefit of just yourself. So, as we see there, 2.2 then for the number 99. That's actually a lot more than that. The mechanics need to update that one. It's 2.9 now. So, it does seem as though Rueda out front, just able to hit his own lines, not have to worry about anyone else diving up the inside of him, and he can just set his own lap times. Farioli came onto the straight in second place. And what is he? He's down to 7th now. Incredible.
Yeah, that's just the slipstream coming into effect, isn't it? It's exactly what can happen, and exactly what obviously you don't want to happen with Farioli. Clearly has podium pace here, and he showed Piqueras running into the car park pretty much.
Some extra track out there, apparently.
Out the outside at turn 3. But yeah, for Farioli, it's unfortunate for him, isn't it? Because he obviously set that fastest lap of the race last time around. Well, not last time around, before at least the team are having fun seeing Piqueras take a wider than expected route, should we say, out on the outside of turn 3. But they're 2 men, of course, are now 1 and 2, so this would be a perfect result for Team Australia Glitfia 0-0 here in Barcelona.
Yeah, it certainly would be, and they'll be hoping that Asman can get up into that 3rd place as well. Of course, rides under the same outfit, but it's under the name of the SIC Racing, Spanish International Circuit Racing, backed by that circuit, of course, and, well, they would have been very happy with his 2nd place earlier on.
Rueda then, 3 seconds clear, over 3 seconds clear, and then this is where the battle is for 2nd and 3rd place, the final 2 spots on the podium. The question is, who will get it? Angel Piqueras will be looking to, like David Salvador, who are on the podium places at the minute with just over 11 laps to go, missed out on the podium by a matter of inches, didn't they, in race 1? And Piqueras, as we mentioned before, didn't we, really is a rookie sensation. We've got to remember this is only his 3rd round on a Moto3 bike, Piqueras. He's doing exceptionally well. Obviously, the Team Australia Glitfia team is a very, very well set up team indeed. It's a great breeding ground for these riders to learn their trades, and Piqueras is doing exactly that and impressing everyone.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you wouldn't be surprised if you see him in the World Championship in a couple of years' time, when he's old enough to do so, of course, with the new regulations coming in for the rule changes. But yeah, certainly you would say that give him another year and he'll be the finished article ready to go up into World Championship, full-on World Championship competition. There is still David Alonso, as you say, Elliot, just in the middle of that pack. Not really made any progress, but certainly not lost any either. So doing a solid job, just holding in there, holding stationary and holding solid.
I think what's helping the guys that just behind, like they were in race 1, like David Alonso, Harrison Voigt, Filippo Faraday was of course behind, and of course David Almanza now in the pack as well. The top, well, the second, third and fourth, which was Piqueras, Asman and Salvador, were just a little bit further up the road when they had about a second advantage. Now they don't, so it's easier for these guys to stay in the slipstream, stay in the coattails of the riders in front and stay in the podium battle for longer, which is what they're doing at the minute. Farioli, I thought he would make a bit more progress than he has after dropping down into like 6th, 7th. He's now 8th for the back of this group. Maybe he's just biding his time. He knows that Rueda now is clearing off into this, the race win really, unless Rueda makes a big mistake, is out of the equation. So maybe Farioli's just boxing clever.
Yeah, Almanza up the inside there, down into turn 10. Oh, Voigt's going to hang around the outside, hold strong. Is Almanza going to cut the inside of him in 12? I don't think so. So it seems as though the Australian Harrison Voigt there doing a cracking job, holding off on the 6:58 Squadron course machine. And we're coming down now to go into 10 laps to go. So certainly time is ticking away in this race already. The gap at the front is now up to 4.7 seconds. So certainly it does seem still Rueda just is able to bang in those 49s, no problem. And actually we've just seen Piqueras drop down into the 51s for the first time, and the rest of the group in the high 50s. So certainly these guys, whether they're scrapping, they're not scrapping too much. We've seen fairly consistency Piqueras at the head of this group, but they're definitely not on the same level of pace as Rueda is.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Just rattling off 49s for fun, high 49s, and just streaking away about a second a lap. It's absolutely sensational stuff from Jose Antonio Rueda. This will be pricking the ears of plenty of World Championship teams, of course. He won't be able to join them next year when he's 17, but when he's 18, the year after that, I think he's going to be grabbing plenty of attention, of course, leading the Rookies Cup Championship as well. He's in absolutely scintillating form in 2022. It's Jose Antonio Rueda as Salvador gets a little bit busy with Sarifdin Asman. Of course, Asman beat him to the podium in race 1, so Salvador will be eager to return the favour in race 2 if he can. David Almanza there, number 22, just making his way slowly through the field, just ahead of Harrison Voigt. Harrison Voigt in Valencia wasn't in Valencia after that crash in Estoril. The 6:58 team wasn't in Valencia. Went to try and find them, but they weren't there, so obviously I didn't find them at all. But good to see Harrison Voigt back in form after an injury-ridden 2021, didn't he? The Harrison Voigt had a nasty injury in the Portimao race in 2021. I think had another injury at the end of the year as well. So great to see Harrison Voigt back in action and back in the podium fight.
Yeah, it's very good to see. It was a pretty big injury that he sustained in Portimao, as you say. So yeah, very, very good to see him really not that long after the injury happened and get back up to where he already was in this kind of championship. And actually, as it just pops up, he does have a track limits warning, does number 29 Harrison Voigt. So he does need to be careful then. Obviously, the stewards have got their beady eyes on him, and they'll have them even more on him now. So he does not need to encounter along that penalty, because that would ruin his race, because there's a whole lot of open air behind him. It'll be a very long lane, very lonely race from there. David Almanza up into third.
Yeah, that weaving's scaring me down the front straight. They need to just be careful about that, because we've already seen in the early exchanges, but as we fell foul of Salvador and Alonso coming into contact. Let's see what
he actually said
progress is.
PB lap last time around.
Yeah, Razri up into 25th, so he's still a fair way off the points, unfortunately, for Razri. Of course, won race 1 and was the championship leader heading into Valencia. Salvador and Almanza get close for comfort. 8 and a bit laps to go, though. Plenty of time left for these guys to get themselves into position, work out where other riders are strong as Almanza dives up the inside. No messing about from the number 22. He was a crasher and taps the back of his seat unit. I don't think they're going to listen to you, unfortunately, Almanza. They'd never really do it at this level. They never really do anyway. That's running wide.
He's going to have to give him some time for that.
It definitely is, yeah, otherwise he'll get a bit of a penalty. So he's given up 2 positions, so that should be okay with race direction. Can't be sure, but it should be okay. But yeah, if you cut the corner and don't give a couple of seconds or at least a couple of places back, then you will receive a penalty. So yeah, Piqueras doing well there just to let a couple of the riders out, Manza and David Salvador through.
Ooh, little twitch there from David Salvador as we do look at the FIM Network box. On the left there's Alonso Lopez, of course, coming to replace Romano Fenati at the Boscuro team. Doing a cracking job, actually. Has been ahead of his, well, much talked about young star of a teammate, Fernando Aguirre, in the last couple of recent races. And if you think back to last year in the Moto2 European Championship, it was the other way round. Alonso Lopez didn't win a race in Moto2 European Championship until I think the very last round or something, or the round before. So certainly it was all one-way traffic in that sense. And now as soon as it's World Championship, it seems to have switched. Here, look at this then. This is 5 abreast down into turn 1. Wow, that's Salvador. A late one from Salvador up the inside of Asman, pushes him wide. Is that going to let Piqueras sweep over the nose? It does. So Piqueras picks the pocket of his teammate too. Does he go to the inside? He does. Oh, who's that AGR team? I can't see which number that one is. That's a shame. There's already one AGR team down. If it was Volpe, or is it Torren Collins? It might have been... No, it's Volpe. So that's a double DNF for Volpe today. That's a disaster then for Volpe. That's such a shame for the AGR team. 2 of their bikes out of this race. Just Torren Collins left representing that squad.
Yeah, look, a fairly big crash there for Matteo Volpe. So thankfully again that he's back up on his feet. That's 2 DNFs, yeah. Good to see him walking away, clearly despondent, clearly disappointed, but he'll be able to regather his thoughts and go again back in Jerez in a few weeks' time. So David Almanza then has hit the front of this group. He is in 2nd place with David Salvador in 3rd. We saw this from Salvador in race 1, didn't we? He was always there, always in the top 2, top 3, never really let himself slip down the order too much. Piqueras there just behind them, and Matteo Volpe. Filippo Farioli is just slowly then making his way back through the pack, the podium finisher in race 1. Asman's there as well, so this is really going to go down to the wire. Not going to catch Rueda though, unfortunately. 7.4 seconds is the gap as David Almanza's team look on. Yeah, there's Alonso Lopez in the picture as well, so good to see former riders in the Junior GP paddock making their way. Obviously a lot of the riders live nearby in Barcelona, don't they? So a nice little easy trip for them to come watch their counterparts, their younger counterparts, do business. Yeah,
certainly is. Cracking place to come watch this, and as you say, not too far from where lots of the World Championship riders live. Speaking of David Almanza once again, the 22 on the lovely purple bike there in the middle of the shot. He just holds off from David Salvador. He is actually a rookie himself as well. We've said lots about the rookie of Angel Piqueras, but David Almanza is a rookie too. Up from ETC from last year, and if he does manage to pick a podium up here, it would be his first of the year. So certainly congratulations, put your hands together for that man if he does manage to do that. And anyway, because he is battling in here with some very, very established names and some guys that have done some really good stuff on World Championship level as well. Speaking of the man behind him, David Salvador, who did a great job last week deputising for Yumu Sasaki and Husqvarna team.
We saw Almanza yesterday, didn't we? He had a technical issue or mechanical issue. It's Alex Gordon, unfortunately, pulling his pit lane on the Leopard Impala machine, yeah. We saw David Almanza yesterday have a technical issue in QP2, didn't we, in these sorts of conditions, and he lost a fair chunk of time. Probably a good 20 minutes or so. They're trying to get the bike back into, but it did eventually get back out, but only for a few laps. So he did lose some crucial time as he slips there onto the green paint. So he needs to be careful with that. But yeah, this is good stuff then from David Almanza, who lost crucial track time yesterday afternoon. David Salvador getting a little bit busy, but not this time around on Angel Piqueras. It was just here that David Almanza suffered that issue.
It was.
The number 22 rider. So yeah, good stuff from the rookie.
I think it was actually his ETC teammate Alberto Ferrandis, which suddenly became taxi man and gave him a lift back to the pits. So yeah, good teamwork from those two boys there. But yeah, certainly David Almanza doing a cracking job. That's Abi Adatama crashed out. That's such a shame, as he was running strongly in the top 15. That's a shame for number 34. Constantly getting better this year is Abi, so hopefully we'll see him in Jerez and he can go again and pick up some of the more. Why? That's close. Some so more points that he deserves. That
front straight. It looks like it's going to be Asman. Well, I say that. Maybe speaking a bit too soon. It's Angel Piqueras late on the brakes there. David Salvador looking at the inside again. It just looks like, well, it did look like these four just had a little bit of a gap on the two Aspar team riders. Farioli leading David Alonso and Harrison Voigt there at the back of Salvador. Shoves Angel Piqueras out of the way with 6 laps to go. It's starting to get a bit busy now, isn't it? With Rueda now 8.5 seconds up the road. We've not seen much of him, and there's good reason for it. This is where the battle is, and Rueda's just cleared off, unfortunately.
Yeah, it'd be cracking to talk to Harrison Voigt after this one, just ask him about the chaos that was going on in front of him, because he's just been at the back of this, watching it all unfold as he sees David Alonso at the front of the group just dive bomb past Piqueras once more. So certainly, yeah, you know, Harrison Voigt there looks as though he hasn't quite got the pace to be able to barge through these guys, but if there is some moves that go wrong and people go wide, he's certainly going to pick up quite a lot of places and points very quickly.
Well, exactly. All he has to do is try and keep with them, and yeah, like you say, if these guys are going to battle it out, he's there to pick up the pieces. I did just see him look behind as he runs there on the green as well. So he's already had a warning, isn't he? If he hasn't done it since then, that's his fourth. So he's only got one more chance before he does get a long lap penalty. Does Harrison Voigt on the 6:58 machine there at the back of the pack? But yeah, all he's got to do is try and stick with these guys and pick up any pieces that might fall his way. Oh, as we take a look inside the Husqvarna garage, a nice painting on the wall there, good colours.
Yeah, certainly quite nice looking machine is the Husqvarna. Ah, that's Daniel Munoff. He's crashed out of that top 15 battle as well. So we were saying about him hopefully having a better ride this afternoon. I think he was 12th in the first race, and that one is not going to pull off for him. So that's unfortunate for Daniel Munoff. We'll see him in Jerez as well. Oi, that's David Salvador taking a void in action, weaving all the way down the straight. Who is that all the way on the inside? That's Filippo Farioli. What's he going to do? Is he going to dive on his teammate? He does, and Almanza holds on to second for now.
It's a bit too close for comfort for me down that front straight, isn't it? It's just, yeah, just keep your powder dry, boys. Just concentrate on trying to get a decent slipstream and then get it late on the brakes. Try and make a move down into turn one instead of weave. That's Farioli right up the inside of David Salvador. He's going to make a move. No, not quite this time around. But Farioli then starting to get busy after a fair handful of laps, just keeping his powder dry, keeping it nice and clean at the rear of the pack, and now he's slowly picking his way forward. Is the race one podium finisher, sorry.
Yeah, wait, that's incredibly close for Piqueras. Almost got his front wheel wiped out, and you know what happens when front wheels and rear wheels meet? The rear one always wins, so that wouldn't have been too good. But Salvador there slotted in right behind. I tell you what, Salvador, again, just can hold himself within a pack, can't he? He seems to be able just to not get barged around and just not bully his way forwards if he does get barged around, but just make sure he sticks some firm moves in, and he doesn't really let too many people past him. So certainly a good rider in a pack.
Are we going to get a few dress rehearsals then down into turn 10? There's one. David Salvador sticking up the inside of Angel Piqueras. That's, yeah, if it goes down to last lap, which I predict it will, we're going to see some business down there to turn 10, because it's the last proper overtaking opportunity. But as we've seen in years gone by, this one isn't really turns 13,
it's a
lonely
turn
race.
14.
It is a lonely race, but it's also a fantastic race. Half the front straight before the riders battling for the podium come over to cross the line. Simply sensational. There's sort of running out of superlatives really to describe Jose Antonio Rueda in 2022, and especially this weekend, because he has been utterly dominant. But there's about 5 abreast then going into turn 1. David Almanza there, but it is Salvador then who moves up into second place. That's another area where we're going to see plenty of action in the final 4 laps.
Yeah, he's good on the brakes, this Salvador, down into turn 1. Certainly gets on the anchors pretty well. He's a big boy to be in the bubble behind that motor-free machine, but when it comes to the brakes, no one's better than him at the moment, although David Almanza is going to have a word about that. Up the inside, down into turn 4. Incredible stuff.
That was a cracking run out of turn 3, wasn't it, for David Almanza? Got it stood up and got it moved over to the inside line. And then got the move stuck as Asman sticks it up the inside of David Salvador. So yeah, the riders now really trying to make their way into the top sort of 2-3 positions of this pack, top 4 maybe as well, to try and get themselves into the best position possible in the final 3 laps, because from here anything can happen. And Harrison Voigt just losing touch a little bit, but he's still there to pick up any pieces that fall his way. And Farioli is back behind David Alonso now as well. So any of these guys can stand on the podium today. It just depends on how they play in the last 3 and a bit laps.
Yeah, it certainly does, and it seems at the moment, with approaching the last 3 laps, all sorts of references for pace and lap time has just gone out the window. These guys are just trying to keep ahead of the rest, essentially, because they're all the way down into the high 51s and low 52s at this stage of the race, when earlier they were in the low 50s. So certainly, well, even the 49s, I think, at the start of the race. So certainly the pace has gone out the window. The rear tyres are suffering, so are the front. And look at that, Asman, it's his time to pounce. He's up into second. We'll see how many ponies that Honda has got down the straight. If it's got enough poke to hold them off, he's certainly going to make it difficult for them, weaving all the way to the inside. making sure they can't squeeze on the inside. But we know that Almanza, and particularly Salvador, are very good on the brakes. And here we go, the number 38 and 22 up the inside. Who's going to hold it into turn 1?
It's David Almanza. I was going to say taking the lead. We're forgetting Rueda's 10.9 seconds up the road. So it's into second place for David Almanza. Salvador trying to hang it round the outside. He'll get a decent run out of turn 3, the inside line. There he goes, and up the inside before turn 4 even. And Asman's going to have a bit of that as well, as Piqueras is up the inside. Here we see David Alonso. We've not mentioned him too much. He's been in the pack all race. There's a few riders there running wide. I think tyres are now starting to give up on them a little bit. 3 laps to go. This is the stage of the race where it really matters. So David Almanza from second place at turn 2 has now dropped down to, I think that's 6th place behind Angel Piqueras.
Yeah, I was just about to say that it looked as though Piqueras' podium challenge has gone a little bit quiet, but it looks as though it's just been resuscitated this lap, and we're all the way up into 5th at the moment, as he was, I think he'd been hounded by Voigt and Farioli at the back of the group. Farioli as well, actually, speaking of riders that have been quiet, we did expect to see Farioli a bit more at the front of this group, but as we say, that's a late one on the brakes to them. Oh, he saves the front end. Incredible save from Farioli. Quiet, well, that was pretty shouty. Incredible.
Anything but quiet down into turn 10 for Filippo Farioli. He's not made much ground up, unfortunately. That was a bit scary. That was
lost out on that one.
Very late on the brakes, yeah. You saw the Team Australia Glitfia members there just shaking their heads a little bit, because that was a little bit too close for comfort. And David Alonso, Farioli's teammate, has lost out there. I think that's Soma Gorbe, the number 42 rider, the former NTC Northern Talent Cup champion. But all that melee in with 2 laps to go now has left David Salvador chasing Asman for second place. Asman has a little bit of a gap now. He's broken the slipstream slightly, so if Asman's got anything left in the tank, can he start pulling away, or will the riders just behind Salvador and Almanza, the first of them, will be able to reel him in?
I tell you what, he's good when it comes down to crunch time, isn't he, Asman?
Really is,
it seems that the last 3, 4, 5 laps, he just kind of comes alive and thinks, right, go time, I'm going to give it the beans. And then he just makes his way through, wafts through to the front of the pack. And, well, now, as you can see, as everyone's battling behind him, getting desperate, seeing him go up the road, he's taking advantage, and he's up into second with, well, daylight between him and Salvador. So Piqueras had a little bit of a moment as he dived up the inside of Almanza. Speaking of diving up the inside, the gas bikes swap places as Farioli goes up the inside of Alonso and relegates him down to 7th.
If Asman can hold this gap down the front straight, they're not going to be close enough to get a slipstream, and then he's just got to keep it nice and tidy on the last lap, obviously around the second half of this lap as well. And second place for the second time today should be Asman's, but there's a long way to go in racing terms. 1.5 laps to go. A couple of riders running wide there. We've not had any notifications of sanctions coming our way, so we'll obviously let you know as Farioli goes up the inside once more, and this time he makes it work. Salvador's just being hung out to dry there around the outside of turns 10 and 11. Now it's Piqueras into 3rd place. Farioli and Salvador, the 2 men challenging for the podium. Race 1, Salvador losing out. Farioli getting on the podium, and now at the forefront of chasing the podium positions as Jose Antonio Rueda then starts his final lap here in Barcelona. It's it's a good 10.5, 11 second advantage he's got, so it's a nice cruise home again for the number 99.
Yeah, absolute perfection from this man in the Barcelona sun. He's been brilliant today. Brilliant all weekend, we should say. The number 99, I mean, there's not really too much more you can say. He's just been inch perfect. Here's Farioli then, going to challenge to make it a carbon copy of the podium from race 1, and he does so for now.
Salvador
up
wide.
into 3rd. Salvador's gone a little bit wide, so the purple bike of Almanza pinches through into 5th, and it looks as though Piqueras, I tell you what, that's some corner speed. He's going to hook it tight on the outside, see if he can sneak up the inside into 4, but it looks as though Farioli's just got enough of a gap to hold him off for now.
This is what we were saying about Farioli, wasn't it? We thought he was quiet. He's come alive in the last couple of laps, the last 3 laps, and now Asman's got trouble for second place. It looks like it's going to be between these 3 guys, Asman, Farioli and Piqueras. No move coming here for either of them. Asman holding second place for now, Farioli holding 3rd place. Piqueras desperately wants that podium in 4th place.
Yeah, we thought not Piqueras. We thought Asman was safe, but it doesn't look as though he is going to be safe now, as the number 7, the bright yellow helmet of Farioli, all over him, and all over him is the young rookie Piqueras. So Is it going to be the same podium as last time? I do not know. We're going to see. Down now into turn 10 as the exit from turn 9.
Here it is then, down into turn 10. Rueda there just at the bottom of your picture, clears it nice and easy. Asman takes the inside line, then takes the outside line to get the better manoeuvre. On the grass there, I'm not sure who that was.
Gone wide,
Farioli
wide.
backing in, and that allows Piqueras then into the final podium position. Farioli losing out there at turn 10. Is he going to make a move at the inside? Yes, he is!
That's incredibly brave. He goes up the inside, loses the rear on the way in, then loses the rear on the way out. So does Piqueras. That's a mammoth move there from the number 7. But it is going to be this man.
Unbelievable stuff from the number 99, Jose Antonio Rueda wins in dominant fashion once again. But let's turn our attention to second place. It's going to be Asman again. Who's going to get the line? It is going to be Filippo Farioli from Angel Piqueras. Piqueras tried as he might, but Farioli just managed to get the job done. And congratulations to Asman for getting a second consecutive second place. But what can we say about Jose Antonio Rueda? Utterly, utterly dominant here in Barcelona. I think a combined win tally of around about 20 seconds in both races. Unbelievable.
Yeah, cracking. I was just looking at the lap times from that last lap. You've got to hand it to all of those guys in second, third and fourth. Asman got back down to a 50.4 when he was all the way up in the 52s for the laps before. So certainly they all pulled the pin on that last lap. And it makes Farioli's charge at the end to pinch that third place even more impressive. So great stuff from all those guys. Congratulations there between the riders to Jose Antonio Rueda. Just checking where all of his teammates finished. Thinking, well, I didn't win it, but you won it by an absolute mile. So good stuff from all of them. Cracking racing once again in Junior GP. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing some more in RF.
Absolutely, yeah, great stuff there. I think Piqueras was just telling his teammate, yeah, I lost out on the run to the line again, but we'll pull a wheelie together anyway down out of turn 5. Yeah, sensational stuff from both these riders, especially, of course, the race winner. Piqueras will be disappointed to lose out on the podium in 4th place. Half a tenth in it, doesn't get much closer than that. Sarifdin Asman, a fantastic weekend here in Barcelona. A couple of P2s, that will go down just nicely, just what the doctor ordered for the number 63, who went without a podium from last year's race win until earlier this morning. Farioli, great late race pace again. Picked his way through the pack aggressively but fairly. Then he climbs onto the podium for the second time today and the third time in a row, of course. Filippo Farioli finished second in Valencia in race 2 after crashing out the lead in race 1. Imagine what his championship would look like if he'd have gone on to win that race. Of course, finished third here this morning, and he's finished third here again. So doing his title charge, no harm whatsoever. But Rueda is going to leave here with a sizable chunk in his back pocket in terms of points, with David Salvador finishing down in 6th place in the end. So Salvador got a little bit beaten up there in the closing stages, finished behind David Almanza, the number 22, David Salvador in 6th, and Harrison Voigt in the end finished 7th ahead of David Alonso, who finished 8th. So not the weekend David Alonso would have been looking for. His teammate got a double podium, so a good weekend in the end for the Aspar team. And there's Ethan Guevara just coming to say congratulations to Farioli. And congratulations, of course, will go the way of Rueda. We came into the day knowing that he had a good half a second in his pocket in qualifying, but we didn't know whether that he just got a nice little bit of slipstream or something like that. But when he was 7/10 clear in warm-up, we sort of knew, didn't we, that this was his races to lose, and to lose he did not. A double race win here for Rueda literally does not get more dominant than that. Turn 3 again was the passing manoeuvre, and he did not look back, didn't make a single mistake, opened the gap up, and then all you have to do is manage it from there. And he didn't just manage it, he extended it, eventually crossing the line 8.1 seconds clear. Unbelievable stuff. And Asman again pulled together the last couple of laps to claim second place. Farioli, of course, in third as they just weigh themselves after. As we hear Paradise by Coldplay ring around. Paradise is exactly what Jose Antonio Rueda was in today. I think Asman just, yeah, unbelievable stuff there from the number 63. A double podium is exactly what he would have wanted. Of course, he would have wanted the victory, but with Rueda's pace, absolutely no chance anyone's going to stop him today. Farioli, the Italian, then aggressive, like we say, in the last few laps, but if you're going to be on the podium in the fights we see in the Junior GP, in Moto3 classes, we see Riccardo Rossi there in the background as well, you need to be aggressive and you need to make moves stick. That was the race-winning overtake. Didn't get the whole shot again. That was Tachkorn Boazri's to boast, but around the outside at turn 3, Rueda, and then he didn't look back. Knew the gap behind him. The dream double victory here in Barcelona for Jose Antonio Rueda. The team, of course, buzzing with that. They'll be a little disappointed that Angel Piqueras didn't join him on the podium, but they did get another of their team members in Sairifudin Asman on the podium, the number 63. So, job done then for Team Australia Galicia, and Sick Racing 1-2 in both races. Fantastic stuff, and we're going to get the interview from your race winner just about now. He's down with Jack Gorse once again.
Jose, 2 dominant victories today. You must be absolutely overjoyed.
Yes, incredible weekend. I am very happy. I say thank you for my team for the weekend, and I don't know to say more. It's incredible weekend.
And then just in Spanish as well for us.
Okay. Bueno, la carrera ha sido muy guapa, la verdad. Y bueno, hacer un fin de semana así, saliendo de pole y haciendo las 2 carreras primero escapadas, pues la verdad que motiva mucho para las siguientes carreras, y muy contento, y se lo quiero agradecer al equipo, que ha hecho un trabajo increíble durante todo el fin de semana, y estoy muy contento, la verdad. Gracias.
Congratulations. See you in Jerez.
Here's the highlights then from race 2 of the Junior GP class here in Barcelona, and it was Rueda, of course, starting from pole position, but once again he didn't get the whole shot like he didn't in race 1, but again at turn 3 kept his outside line road around the outside of Tachkorn Boazri, and from there on in he did not look back, stretching his lead lap by lap. We saw an early fall there for the likes of O'Shea. As he got a bit too close for comfort down into turn 1, that was Tachkorn Boazri losing out after David Salvador and David Alonso came into contact, as we had a brilliant battle for the podium positions, changing throughout. Asman, Piqueras, David Almanza, David Salvador, David Alonso, Filippo Farioli, all in the fight. This was down into turn 1, and it was getting very, very busy down here every single lap. Slipstream City down the 1 kilometre front straight. Angel Piqueras, the rookie, of course. David Almanza, another rookie, in 2nd and 3rd place, swapping and changing positions. The team there thoroughly enjoying that. The more experienced David Salvador was getting busy. He wanted that podium after missing out in race 1. And it all came down really to the final few laps, as we've seen so often in Moto3 classes in years gone by. It was anyone's game really. Harrison Voigt there at the back, of course. A great race for Harrison Voigt in the 658 squad. But this was heading into the final lap. Asman just broke clear slightly, and that was Farioli up the inside of Angel Piqueras into turn 1. This was the utterly brilliant Jose Antonio Rueda taking victory for the 2nd time today, the 3rd time in a row, extends his championship leads. Sensational stuff from the young Spaniard, and taking 2nd was Sairifudin Asman for the 2nd time, and Farioli just beat Angel Piqueras to the line on the last lap to take the final podium position in 3rd place.
Preparados, pues va. Ahí está el fin
The final time then today in the Junior GP class anyway. Of course, we've got another race coming up, the final race of the day, the Moto2 European Championship. Do stick around for that. We had a fantastic race earlier on today between Lucas Tulovic and Senna Aegis. Team Australia are getting used to this, aren't they? If they weren't used to it already, of course. Very successful in the Junior GP paddock. They take another victory. Here's Filippo Farioli, 2nd podium of the day. It's the exact same podium we saw in race 1. Asman understandably buzzing about his 2nd place. But Barcelona in 2022 at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya belongs to one man in the Junior GP class, and that man is Jose Antonio Rueda, simply unstoppable here in Barcelona. Trophies will be handed out, of course. The team's trophy presented by Joan-Marc Deswens, Vice President of FIM Europe. And that looks like, from a distance, Ricardo Rossi, and it is Moto3 World Championship rider course for 658. And Ethan Guevara, a sensation in this paddock, a sensation on the World Championship scene as well. Won here, of course, in the Moto3 World Championship last weekend, 7 days ago, on this very podium. But the race winner's trophy for the second time today, third time in a row, belongs to Jose Antonio Rueda. Congratulations to Rueda and the team. Utterly sensational stuff today. Unstoppable. Never looked like making a mistake. He'll get his second check of the day as well. And soon the Spanish national anthem will ring out for Rueda. How many more times will we hear that for Rueda this year?
So then it's the double for Jose Antonio Rueda. Fantastic stuff. Wow, just incredible, really. He's been superb all weekend, and that means it is 3 victories in a row as everyone vacates the podium very, very quickly, not to be sprayed by the fizzy water. So yeah, incredible. And I tell you what, I think that more circuits should have some nice triumphant music playing out in Parc Ferme at the end of a race, because it was pretty nice down there. Nice party atmosphere.
Couldn't agree more, mate. Couldn't agree more. So here's the final results then. Rueda winning by 8.1 seconds in the end, but his margin, to be fair, was a bit more than that. Farioli in third place behind Asman in second, the same podium we saw in race 1. Bequeras just missing out on podium again. Almanza 5th, Salvador 6th, Alonso 7th, Harrison Voigt 8th. They were all in the podium fight. With Zurutuza 9th, another top 10 there for Zurutuza, the rookie.
Morosi completes the top 10 then from Carraro. Hamada, good stuff from him. 12th place in points for the Japanese rider. Ruda 13th, Bawazri came all the way back to 14th in the end. Good stuff to manage to pinch some points from Detweiler, Ralston and Philip Todd. Carpe Cruces, the rookie, who was very, very good in the first 2 rounds. Struggled a little bit here. Hopefully we'll see him back to the front like we have seen him in Ref. Rosenthaler, Collins, Uchimi, Gordon, and Gordon again. And then Sommergorb had that technical problem. Daniel Munoff, who crashed out. RB Adatama, who was running really strongly. It's a shame for him. And Volpe and all the rest there at UC2. In the championship then, 108 points for Jose Antonio Rueda, 39 ahead of David Salvador.
Yeah, a bit of a margin that, isn't it? Heading to Jerez next time around. The riders behind have got a bit of a job to catch up with Jose Antonio Rueda, especially on this form. Alonso there, down in 4th place. Asman making great gains there, up into 3rd with Farioli, also making good gains. Up into 5th place a bit further down. Now Manza moves up into 10th after a solid weekend. Voigt up into 11th, again another solid weekend. Munoff in 12th, disappointing for him. The Ambias, we wish him a get well soon after he missed today through injury after qualifying crash yesterday. A bit further down, Morassi in 18th, Carrara in 19th. Sharil crashed out of race 2 in 20th. Marcus Ariarte was out injured this weekend. We wish him a get well soon as well. Sommergorb there in 22nd. And the rest of the pack. But in Barcelona, in Junior GP, it was all about this man. Jose Antonio Rueda heads to Jerez with a healthy 39-point advantage in the championship standings. What will he do there? We'll find out next time around.